This is the YMB and BTC podcast.
Cryptocurrency decrypted.
Welcome to episode 73. A few months ago, it was announced that a Bitcoin startup, 21 Inc., had raised millions of dollars. At the time, we could only speculate about what the company had planned and why investors were so eager to fund it. But this week, the veil was lifted. Today, we're chatting about the future of Bitcoin mining. According to 21's CEO, the company has developed a chip that can turn virtually any device into a Bitcoin miner. This should provide a whole range of benefits, including simplified micropayments, decentralized device authentication, and more. We'll even talk about how prices for electronics could fall, because they could be subsidized based on their own future mining revenue. Your hosts are Tim Baker, John Stuart, and myself, Daniel Brown. Here we go. Okay, hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This is the YMB and BTC podcast. This will be episode 73. Thanks for joining us. It is May 18th right now, and you'll be hearing this in a few days on Thursday. Today's a Monday. I don't feel like doing the math real quick. I am Daniel Brown, and I'm here with
Tim Baker
and John Stewart.
I'm pretty excited for today's story, actually. It's another story from medium.com, so this is sort of a part 3 for our mini-series. We did two articles from Medium in the past 2 episodes, and quite honestly, this next story I think it's fascinating. It's about pretty much they're going to put a miner in every single device. Well, I mean, not literally, and obviously this will take a long time to roll out. But the idea is that pretty much everything that has a computer processor in it is going to be able to have a Bitcoin miner. And there are all kinds of crazy possibilities with that. We did one episode, I don't know, probably in the 50s or something, about 21 Inc. And it was this mysterious company that had raised a ton of money. I mean, I forget, millions of dollars. And nobody really knew why, and now we do know why, and it's going to be pretty crazy. So we'll get into that momentarily. Like I said, I'm pretty excited, but I don't know. I should say hello to Tim and John. What's going on? It's almost summer. You excited for summer?
I don't know.
Tim's laughing at me.
Yeah, I'm excited for summer, except, no.
We have some exciting plans to reboot our YMB live show. I don't know if that's actually going to be what it's called, but we are going to try and do a weekly live show. We're going to focus on Bitcoin headlines. I mean, this story is definitely a headline, but, especially from the last 2 episodes, we hit news occasionally on the regular show, but we also like to just dive into deeper, I don't know, sometimes philosophical, sometimes technical, all kinds of stuff. And the live show, I don't know, I think it's just more fitting, I guess, if you're going to do a live show than talk about news. Maybe, I don't know. But that's the plan, and we'll have more details about that pretty soon. It's possible that we could even start it this week and in the next few days. So we'll keep an eye on that, and you should too. Okay. Let's talk about this. Before we jump into all this, I want to say that it's really cool. I think that we kind of told the future a while ago, a long time ago. This was actually the first ever recording that we did for YMB and BTC. We were in John's bedroom. It was pushing a year and a half ago. I remember it was right around Thanksgiving, so November of 2013. And one of
Black Friday.
Yeah, it was on Black Friday. I think you're right. Yeah,
you had a goldfish.
I had you know what? I actually believe you. I think you're right.
Thank you.
I think I cracked his container on the way on my trip too,
You
and
bastard.
barely kept him alive. It was a beta, not a goldfish. He's still sitting on my toilet, and his on my toilet, not in my toilet, and his okay. Anyway, we won't get into that. Anyway, our very first recording, it wasn't released as an episode. In fact, I don't think we even have the audio, do we, John? Didn't we look for it when we were doing our Christmas specials? We were going to run it, and we couldn't find it.
That's you would have to answer that question. I don't know about that.
I think that's what happened. The reason I'm asking you is because I thought I was asking, because you recorded it. Like we said, we were in your bedroom.
John
and,
claims no
So
responsibility.
I think I was asking if you had the audio, but maybe
Wait,
not.
was that on my hard drive that like completely like melted?
Definitely could have been. I have no clue. Anyway, it's lost audio. If you have a copy of it, I guess that's possible. I mean, we did release it on the website for a time, so maybe you have a copy of it. Pretty unlikely.
Someone
I'm
should
sure
send
we
it
didn't.
to us.
Yeah, or hoard it and save it for a couple more years and sell it for millions of dollars to like the Bitcoin version of TMZ when we're super famous and everything.
I don't think. Well, okay, never mind. Just the implication of what
Bitcoin version of
TMZ being
TMZ.
involved implies for our lives. Just
I said the Bitcoin version.
yeah, that still means our lives are pretty much in the gutter at this point.
All the Bitcoin gossip and celebrity news. Anyway, I've been trying to. The whole point of my bringing up this original recording, one of the topics that we hit is the idea. Well, we talked a lot about mining and profitability. Maybe we hit, and we said we kind of thought about, well, what if? I think this was actually your idea, John, but you'll probably not remember this either.
It's probably mine.
No, Tim never
That's
has
the
good
good
ideas.
thing. It keeps me humble. I can't remember anything, but at least I'm humble.
I think that John mentioned, well, I know somebody mentioned it, but I think it was John who said that maybe one day, years down the road, a Bitcoin miner will just be a household device. Everybody's going to have one. Everybody's going to contribute. It might not necessarily be profitable, but you're not really going to lose money either. It's just going to be a break-even thing, and everybody's going to do it just to support the network and keep everything going. And that seems like what could be about to happen with this 21, venture. And
Well, it looks like the beginning of it.
oh, definitely the beginning.
Like
yeah.
because it's still just in a smart. And what companies are they pairing up with? Or has anything like that come out?
Well, yeah, I want to mention, there were several investors that we talked about when we first covered this story about them just raising money. There were some weird companies like Expedia, I want to say, or maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
There were
I think
several
so.
companies. I don't know if they directly contributed money or if their CEOs had invested, stuff like that. So there were a ton of big names on the list that were, more or less relevant. One of the ones that I really loved, though, was Qualcomm. Qualcomm. They make chips for mobile phones, like Android and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They make the Snapdragon, and that's one of the best processors that there is. And they're a huge name out there. They literally are on the bleeding edge of mobile technology. Everything they make is the fastest and the best, really. And so that really excited me. I'm like, oh, cool, they're getting into Bitcoin. Who knows what they could do? Well, now we know they're making chips for Bitcoin, basically. They're making any size of a chip, small enough to fit in your phone, that will be able to mine Bitcoin. I guess it's interesting because I know that technically any existing CPU can do that, but they must really be embedding it on a hardware level. They must have some interesting architecture and plans to make it more feasible on a mobile level, because I think in fact, I know there is an app out there maybe more than one, that will make your phone into a Bitcoin miner, and you can connect it to a pool and everything. And I messed around with that before, and it was kind of cool. But obviously, you're hardly ever going to make any money off of that, because compared to the dedicated ASIC miners that are out there, your power is worthless. So they must have some...
I only got that when John left.
What did I say? I have no clue what I said.
Your power is worthless.
What's...
Compared to the grand power of the ASIC miners. Your people...
It was just
cell
the way
phone
you
chips.
said it.
Your power is useless.
Is that like a line or something?
No, but it sounds
it was
like
just
one.
the way you said it.
Okay.
Like, your power is worthless.
Well, I think it pretty much is when you're trying to mine on a phone.
Well, I think...
It's like Lord of the Rings. You have no power here, Gandalf the Grey.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, man. But anyway, so I think they... Go ahead.
How would it get better, though? Like, do you have any idea how would they make it more feasible? Because I don't... Because even if it's not that feasible, I still think some people will buy that, because it probably shouldn't be that much more expensive. It's just, okay, put it on there, whatever. Well,
what's your question again? Why?
How would this kind of miner be more feasible than any other kind of cell phone miner?
Okay. What I would say is this comes down to pretty much exactly the reason that ASICs exist. ASICs are designed on a hardware level, like literally the little itsy-bitsy nanometer circuits that run through there are specifically designed for Bitcoin mining, and they can't do anything else.
Instead of being used for it, but made for like general purpose.
Exactly,
okay.
Exactly. The processor on our phones now is completely general purpose. That's the whole point of having a phone, is because you can do a million things with it. But if there's an extra chip there, I mean, you obviously you're going to need a general purpose one too. But if you put if you put an ASIC designed, really specific hardware chip right next to it, cool. I mean, you've already got the battery and the a screen maybe you would need for keeping track of what's going on in there. You've got, I don't even know, memory and stuff. That's all there. So sure, if we're using it anyway, if we've got it all there, let's put a miner in there too. And that's a big thing in this article, is convenience. And it would be completely convenient to just have it with you all the time and have it generating Bitcoins that you can spend and use and all kinds of stuff. And we will get into that. There's a list here of purposes, really, or ideas maybe, that could come about from all of this. And I guess, should we just go through it one by one and talk about each of these points? Go ahead, Tim. Go ahead and hit the first one. What's going on?
Okay. So it talks about the industrial uses of Bitcoin enabled by embedded mining, and the first point that it includes is a new approach to micropayments. The article follows: it has been difficult to get people to dig out their credit cards in order to purchase things online, particularly on mobile devices. The fixed cost of a sign-up alone exceeds the benefit for the vast majority of sites. A continuously replenished stream of digital currency on your device generated by default from a 21-bit chip can change all that. So, I mean, I think it's just saying, like, you generally just have like a little bit of money to pay like certain little sign-up payments. Is that kind of what it seems like to you guys?
Yeah, I don't know if he's talking about specifically sign-ups or even just like purchasing products. I think what he's saying is, if you go to a website, especially if you're going to it on your phone, and they want you to buy something, and you have to put in a credit card, that's a hassle.
I think this is he's talking about micropayments.
Yeah.
I think if he's talking about non-micropayments, then his entire thing is like retarded.
Yeah, because a miner on a phone is not going to be able to afford a computer.
No, it gets you few cents here, a few cents there, enough to pay off a sign-up fee.
Exactly.
When I was listening, I forgot that he was talking about micropayments. I was like, what is this guy talking about? He's like, a continually replenished stream of... There's just free money giving it out everywhere.
Right. I'm not sure, though, Tim, when you say a sign-up fee, or, I mean, he says it first, but I'm asking how you're interpreting it.
I'm completely stealing it from there.
Yeah, but are you thinking he means like a subscription? Or do you... The way I read it is that he meant like... If you have to use your credit card, then you sort of have to sign up at this website. And he's thinking that's too much effort. That's what I thought. But are you saying
how is that
like...
a sign-up fee then? Doesn't...
Well, it's not a fee. It's just a fixed cost is what he calls it. And I think he just means the hassle of pulling out your credit card, typing in all 16 of those digits and the confirmation code and giving them your name and your billing address and stuff like that. Whereas if you had money directly on your phone that you could send directly to them, that's a whole lot easier. And the money's pretty likely going to be there since you automatically mine it. You don't have to transfer it from your other wallets or anything. It's just on your phone and you can send it away to buy a song or an app or something. That's the way I read it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really know what I meant by sign-up fees.
And that's also, that's what I imagine when people say micropayments. The first thing that comes to mind is music, but then there's all kinds of stuff that it really could be. I mean, like I said, apps or any kind of data.
Do people still buy music?
I'm sure somebody does. I mean, iTunes still exists.
A lot of people still use iTunes.
I was kidding.
Which that is pretty interesting. Though.
It's like when people talk about ads. I'm like, people still look at ads?
Yes. Oh man, I think that's still on our list of topics that we have to hit. The whole idea of just dealing with marketing and ads and stuff. Or maybe we sort of hit it once.
Suffering through advertising.
No, yeah, we should definitely do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, well,
wait. They were talking about an advertising thing on this one thing, and it was an acne cream, and at the end of it, part of the side effects said it caused bloody and or explosive diarrhea, and then you should get to the hospital very soon because it might be fatal, along with stomach pain.
Man.
And I'm like, how does that do that to you? You're putting it on your face.
Yeah, no, we don't need it. We won't go into all that stuff now, but that's definitely going to be on our list. It's been on our list for a while. Not explosive diarrhea.
We should do an episode about that.
Bitcoin and how you can buy toilet paper from your phone.
Yeah.
And have it shot in by an Amazon drone.
This is for another episode. We'll get to all that advertising stuff. Who wants to hit silicon as a service?
Yeah, because Bitcoin because Bitcoin mining is embarrassingly parallel, mining can scale down to one core or up to hundreds. We've used this observation to develop a single core version of our technology that can be integrated into an existing chip.
So I have to ask before we go much further. I feel like Tim is going to be the one who asks the question, what does that mean, embarrassingly parallel?
Why?
Do you know what it means?
I think so.
All right, what does it mean?
No idea. I don't know. It's a Bitcoin mining. It's parallel. I don't know. Is there a link there?
Should we just sit here and do one of those things where like somebody's doing an interview and they leave in like 30 seconds of silence just to show that the guy is stumbling and doesn't know anything?
In parallel computing, an embarrassingly parallel workload or embarrassingly parallel problem is one for which little or no effort is required to separate the problem into a number of parallel tasks. This is often the case where there exists no dependency or communication between those parallel tasks. Bitch, I don't need to be smart. I have Google.
I thought embarrassingly was just like a colloquial term that they were using to just say that it's really parallel. But there's actually a Wikipedia entry for embarrassingly parallel.
I thought it was just an adjective.
Yeah, so I guess all three of us kind of fell down the trap here of having no clue what it means. But the way I saw it, and I guess it's still pretty much true, but if it's parallel, it means it's just like really sequential, really simple, really straightforward, and therefore, like they say, if you want to do it on one core, it's completely possible. or if you want to do it on hundreds of cores, you can do that too. So I think it just means
parallel is as opposed to series. That's what they mean, isn't it? Where you can split it up into things that are done concurrently instead of in order. You don't have to do things sequentially.
What's concurrently?
Well,
at the same time.
I know exactly what you're saying, John, because normally if something is parallel, you're right. That means like they would be side by side, and so therefore maybe you would need 2 cores because you can do...
No, I think what he's saying is that you can do it on any number because it can be broken up into any number of parallel tasks. So you can do a bunch of different transactions or a bunch of different calculations at the same time.
So it's almost... It's actually the opposite maybe of what I was thinking. I was thinking he was saying that it was cool that you could do it on 1 core, but he's not. He's saying it's cool that you can do it on hundreds of cores because it's parallel.
Well, you can do it on one as well.
Either. Yeah, you can do it either way, but his point was that you could do it on hundreds of cores. I thought his point was that you could do it on 1 core, and that's how we're fitting it on a phone, but it's kind of the other way around, I guess. Interesting. Wow. We all three, well, I definitely... I'm sorry, Tim. I was making fun of you for not knowing what that meant. And clearly I have no clue, so... Or at least I didn't think about it enough, so... Hey guys, I want to tell you about Wall of Coins, a brand new and very handy service for trading Bitcoin. The platform is designed to enable anyone to get their hands on some Bitcoin. Buyers are quickly connected to an authorized, trusted seller within the Wall of Coins network. Just set a dollar amount for your order, safely pay at a bank near you, and you instantly own more Bitcoin. Buyers don't even have to create an account, so anyone can have access to Bitcoin. Got some extra coin lying around? With Wall of Coins, you can sell it for cash, available immediately in your bank account. Visit wallofcoins.com right now to see just how easy it is. Anyway, what else do they say here? Any vendor can make a chip that, so that's cool. A chip that performs a normal function, and we've kind of already mentioned this, but an existing chip like your phone that performs a normal function can be turned into a miner, a revenue generating stream, whatever. All you need is power and internet. That's kind of the rest of that point there, and that's what it is, silicon as a service. I guess that's his point. Anything that's silicon, your phone, even like your router, or maybe like your TV, maybe. I mean, there's smart TVs with internet access.
Smart houses.
Dude, those smart TVs are crap.
Why?
Because they don't let you watch things that are like illegal.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Are you serious?
This happened to me on a smart DVD player, not quite a TV.
Yeah, this stuff is crap.
My friend downloaded a movie onto a flash drive, and we watched it for like 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden the screen came up and said, "This is copyrighted material. You can no longer watch this," and whatever. What the heck?
Yeah, someone plugged their computer, and they were trying to stream like a live sporting event or something. And they plugged their computer into the TV, and the TV wouldn't let them play it. But I think you can do it in like an incognito window, and it works or something. It's not hard to get around, but
interesting.
It's still annoying.
Was it the fight of the century? I feel like everybody wanted to stream that.
No, I was in Florida when that happened, and I didn't have internet access.
You didn't see all the people around you. I couldn't believe how many people spent $100
on it. Oh gosh, I know. Apparently they were... Wow, we're going all over the map here, but I really love this. I love just talking about random stuff. It was a big deal that people were... There's some really new streaming services that like link up directly to Twitter. There's a couple of them, Meerkat and not Telescope, Periscope. There are these two new apps, and they go straight through Twitter, and it makes it super easy to broadcast anything from your phone like to Twitter. And so everybody was watching the fight on Twitter, and everybody got upset, and well, not everybody, HBO got upset.
I heard, this is totally random, but I heard something like they broke it down into how much they were making per second.
Oh,
and we were just bragging about how much we made today. All of us, three of us made today. They were making like $100,000 a second.
Oh gosh. Do you mean the fighters or like HBO? Yeah, I think I read that too, and that's insane. Even the loser made.
I want that job.
You want the job of the loser? Because you already
Do you
have
want
that.
the brain damage too?
No, Pacquiao isn't too bad. Neither is Mayweather, because Mayweather
Well,
doesn't...
too bad, Tim, because Mayweather won, so you owe me money.
Yeah, no, that's fine, but I knew that because Mayweather can dodge stuff. It's because he doesn't, like, he's not going to be exciting to watch, but he's going to win.
So why would you bet against him?
Because you won the bet for the other guy.
Oh, you're right, I did. But you said it. You told me that you had already planned on betting on Pacquiao, so...
I don't know. I think it was because when I was working, and a lot of the guys I was talking to were Mexican. They were just like Pacquiao.
Everybody roots for the underdog. I'm like, no, I want to make money, so I'm going to root for the person who's actually going to win.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Anyway,
I don't know. I needed to pick an opposite thing. I kind of like that. So.
Yeah, that really is Tim's role on the show as devil's advocate, just rooting against us.
No, I do have to admit though, I didn't really like him until I started just being like, okay, whatever, he does what he does. It doesn't have to be exciting. He wins.
Oh, Mayweather, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, like I used to not, like, I don't know.
Anyway.
Like a lot of people seem to kind of just condemn him, but whatever. You were speaking of Twitter next to the next point of the article.
Holy crap, you're right, Tim. This flows perfectly. Go for it.
The next point is machine Twitter. The constant stream of Satoshis provided by a 21 embedded mining chip means that any device with an internet connection can now write to a globally readable, always accessible database.
So this time I can already tell you, Tim, because you already asked the question before we started recording. You're like, wait, what's a database?
What?
All right, that was hyperbole.
I'm just gonna ignore you. With obvious benefits for device coordination, ad hoc networks, and the like. While the Bitcoin blockchain itself is not designed for this particular use case, future sidechains that accept Bitcoin may be. Yeah, so all you can tweet using it because you just need to save all your witty comments onto the blockchain so that you can never delete them, so they're always there.
Yeah, I don't know.
You also want to post those selfies up there and get those stuck on there forever too.
I don't know if he actually means like Twitter tweets, unless Twitter integrated with this kind of system, which I'm sure they could. I don't think he specifically means tweets, though.
Said,
I think he just means blurbs of information that you could store in the blockchain really easily. Any kind of information, any kind of database, globally
People are going
readable.
to start stealing celebrity nudes again and then just put them
in the blockchain.
They're never going to take them down.
Oh gosh, they can never go away. Wow, that is really interesting.
The government's been like, no, we can't.
I wonder
do
how
this.
that hasn't happened yet. We could do that, Tim.
Well,
We could be the first people to put nudes on the blockchain.
I'm sure it's happened.
I don't know. I feel like people would talk about it more. I feel like I would have heard about that.
I think he's.
I don't know. That guy
ones.
put his genome in the blockchain, and people didn't really talk about that much.
This is a market opportunity. It could be a marketing stunt, Tim. We'll put nudes of you on the blockchain.
I was gonna say put Tim's nude. I was thinking the same exact thing. How bad is that?
Oh, anyway. All right, nudes on the blockchain. This is I love this episode. We're not even staying on topic, but I think that makes it so much better. I'll try and hit the next one. Devices.
Probably not.
Oh, we skipped one.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had to talk about Twitter. All right, so I'll back up one. Decentralized device authentication. Many applications of Bitcoin are not strictly monetary. Embedded mining means that any device can authenticate itself to the network by sending 1 Satoshi to a specified address. When used in combination with multisig, a 21-bit share offers new paradigms for device authentication. So they don't get into too much detail there. They just say new paradigms, but it really does open a ton of doors if you're able to, I guess, instead of using passwords and crap, which are annoying to keep track of and too easy for other people to keep track of, you could use your miner, have a hardware device, and if you want to authenticate, you just send one Satoshi to a certain address, and they say, okay, that's you then, because it came from you. And then you could even do that with multi-sig, where different people can authenticate to the same account, I guess, or whatever. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of opportunity there. All right, who wants to do the next one?
And devices that can pay for associated services. A wide variety of new internet-connected devices require an associated SaaS subscription to work. Rather than paying a number of different subscription bills, by including the right size 21-bit share with the device, one can, under many scenarios, wholly or partially defray the expense of the cloud service. I don't know what any of that meant.
See, I wish I could make fun of you here again, but I don't know either. So here we go. We're looking it up. SaaS. Software as a service. Oh, okay. So I guess they just mean subscriptions. Like, if you're going to subscribe to... What do people even subscribe to? You don't subscribe to Facebook. You don't subscribe to Twitter. You don't subscribe to YouTube.
Like
Netflix.
Pandora,
yeah, okay, there we go. Netflix, Pandora. All right.
Spotify.
See, the reason I don't know about
Tidal.
Yeah, Tidal. The reason I don't think about that stuff is because, as we talk about all the time, I'm a gigantic cheapskate, so I don't pay for any of that stuff. But yes, people do pay for Pandora, which is software. They pay for it as a service, and yeah, so I guess you could do that pretty quickly and pretty simply from a mobile device with a Bitcoin miner now. Do you guys pay for any of that? I guess I do have Netflix.
Do I pay for any of that?
But I don't pay for it.
I don't pay for anything. No, I pay for the... I have been thinking about getting Spotify, but only if they start directly accepting Bitcoin, just because I'm too lazy and I don't feel like setting up an account.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were just talking about with the credit card fixed cost, right? I mean, it's just not worth setting everything up.
I do subscribe to Amazon Prime, but only because I can get the student discount.
Right. I have Amazon also, but I don't pay for it, so...
Yeah. I use Purse so much now that I don't even know if it's worth it.
That's true.
I almost never buy things on Amazon. I just use Purse.
Yeah, definitely true. We won't get too much into that because we've described Purse like 10 times on the show, but look it up, purse.io. It's pretty sweet.
Way more than 10.
Anyway. I will grab the next one. Devices that can pay for your channel partners. At the manufacturer's discretion... this one is actually really interesting. At the manufacturer's discretion, the 21-bit share chip can be configured to support a variety of different revenue shares for the mined Bitcoin. For example, one could build an internet-connected device that shared some portion of mined Bitcoin between the user, the retailer, the handset maker, and the carrier, thereby reducing costs and/or increasing margins throughout the entire supply chain. And because of the nature of mining as an embarrassingly parallel problem, embedded mining can scale up or down to fit within the power and thermal envelope of virtually any device. This is crazy, and they get into this in the next point a little bit more with the iPhone. Well, I guess we can just sort of combine them. I'll summarize the next one real quick. They talk about Bitcoin subsidized devices for the developing world, and they say that with these subsidies, you can sell devices, Bitcoin-enabled devices, extremely cheaply, which makes them available in the developing world. And the reason that, basically what makes that possible is, they use the example of the iPhone. The reason that the iPhone became so popular, or not the only reason, obviously, there was a ton of great stuff about it. Yes, I said something nice about Apple. But the reason that it was able to explode like it did was because the carriers, AT&T, Verizon, or whoever, they sell them at a discount. And it's still like this with all kinds of phones. They're sold at a discount, and then you pay for them monthly, not directly. It's not like listed on your bill. I mean, sometimes it is, it depends, but a lot of times it doesn't say on your bill like monthly iPhone payment. You just pay a whole lot more than you really should, and part of that eventually ends up paying for the iPhone. So that's a subsidy, sort of, and that helped the iPhone to become more popular. Now think about this. You could sell a discounted device that is programmed to automatically send a fraction of the Bitcoin that it mines back to the manufacturer or back to the carrier or both. That's insane. I could buy my phone for $100, and as it's mining over the next few years that I use it, a good chunk of the Bitcoin that it mines will go back to the manufacturer, and that's how they'll make their money. That sounds like a crazy idea to me. Do you guys agree?
I do. And the other thing is, like, it doesn't sound like a lot, like you're just getting Satoshis or whatever from this. But when people are selling things in such high volume, like hundreds of items, or not hundreds,
probably.
what am I talking about? I meant to say millions.
Yeah.
When you're talking about like millions of units sold, that adds up, even if it's a very small amount per each one, that adds up.
Well, right. But the thing is that the small amount per each matters, because that's what's going to govern the discount. So let's say the average lifespan of a phone is 2 years. Well, if the manufacturer, say they take 10% of your Bitcoin, I have no clue what the actual numbers were going to be, but let's say that over 2 years at 10%, they could make $200 on one phone. Well, then that's what's going to govern the discount. If it costs them $600 to make it, then they can sell it to you for $400. So it does matter on a per device level how much it mines, but still, I mean, maybe over the course of 2 years with these specialized chips, maybe it will be a pretty decent amount.
Join the club, join the club, join the Bitcoin Talk Club.
A new forum sensation is coming to a computer near you. A site that adapts to its users and tailors to altcoins. Are you a coin developer looking for a home? Look no further than the club. Have your own section and moderate it yourself. They're looking for members to help build the club into a one-stop resource for everyone's needs. They're looking for you at bitcointalk.club.
Join the club, join the club, join the Bitcoin Talk Club.
Just for fun, I looked it up and, well, there's an ad. I'll get to it in a second after I get rid of this ad. Samsung, I just picked a random one. This is for Q1 of 2014. Samsung shipped 85 million smartphones for 1/4 of 1 year. That is pretty crazy. And that's only one company too. That's not even counting the iPhone, which is probably like, I don't know, 40% of the whole mobile market. So, oh, there it is. It says total global smartphone shipments, I guess across all manufacturers, was 281.5 million units for the first quarter. So, yeah, no, that's a lot of phones. And I don't know, it's, even if it wasn't a lot of phones, just the fact that that's possible just seems like a crazy idea, that you can...
The fact that what's possible.
That you can program a device to send back some of the Bitcoin that it mines. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's not really like anything that we have today. The closest thing that I could think of is like console devices. Xboxes sell for below their manufacturing cost because they know that you'll buy games, which will bring back a lot of revenue. That's a pretty similar, subsidy idea. I guess it's, yeah, like we said with the phones. There are subsidy models in existence, but I don't know, this one it just seems different because it's a lot more definite. It's directly money. It's not like they're hoping that you'll buy a product.
Yeah, it's not something that's going to make them then kind of like push that advertising on you if you're someone who does get bothered by advertising.
Okay, so you're saying like in the Xbox example, they are going to push the ads. They're going to market those games really hard because they need you to buy them. But in this example,
and with the game, they're going to be really expensive too.
Well, yeah, $60 for a console game. That's like the regular price. That's a
and then they start hiding stuff on the discs, and then they make people charge extra to use stuff that's already on the disc. But yeah, that's a whole thing.
You mean like DLC? And they?
Yeah, it's like on the disc. But
I
they
don't
charge
think so.
you.
No,
to
you
get,
download it.
No, that's happened though.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, but you're saying with this new model, they wouldn't have to market anything. They wouldn't have to spend more money there, and they wouldn't have to hope that you would spend more money there. They could just literally get some money back over time.
Yeah. I mean, they probably still will. It's just not as much of an incentive for them to do that. They can lower prices otherwhere to get people to maybe buy more stuff, and that might be a better business model for them.
Right.
Which is then better for us too.
Yeah, and that is a big point that they're making here is lower prices, and that's why they mention the developing world, because no matter what you're talking about, no matter how things are set up or how they work, if things are more convenient, if things are faster, and if things are easier, then it's just that simple. Prices go down across the board because one person saves money, and then they can save another person money, and then they can save another person money. So you can look at it directly in prices, but just the fact that things are easier, things are more convenient, it's a great thing for everybody, really, I think. It will be interesting, though. Any thoughts on what this would do to the market price of Bitcoin? Would you give any credit to the possibility that because it's easier to mine Bitcoin, then maybe the price will go down because it's going to be a lot easier to mine?
But why would it be easier to mine in an effective way? Because it would just make the difficulty go up.
Yeah, okay. That was sort of going to be my defense yeah, that's basically what I would say is because it's easier to mine, well then more people are mining, so the difficulty goes up. But then that actually brings up the question, will this actually be profitable for anyone? Because if everybody's mining, then the difficulty is going to go up, and then your phone is going to have that much of a harder time generating revenue because what's it called? The distribution of Bitcoin is set. It's set at 25 Bitcoins every 10 minutes, and that's going to go down over time. So I don't know. Then do you lose?
I think this is a good part of Bitcoin because of how it stops this whole thing of just being able to like give out free money. Like this whole idea with Bitcoin that you can just that's what people make fun of it for, is because people look at it, it's like you're just like making up money and giving it away. And I think some people within Bitcoin start to think that they can just like, oh, we can just make so much money for the developing world and all this, but Bitcoin's still designed so that so you don't go crazy like that, because it doesn't work if you can just make up a whole bunch of money for people.
Right. Okay, so here's...
Because someone would have already done that. It wouldn't be left over for the people who don't have laptops.
So then,
or anything.
Here's how I think we could clarify this then. The benefit is not necessarily because your phone is a miner. Mining is designed to pretty much be a break-even enterprise. Just because there's a set amount of Bitcoins and everybody's competing for them fairly equally. So the idea of having a miner on your phone is not supposed to necessarily get you money. It's there to have a regular supply. You don't really have to buy it. You don't really have to manage your wallets and make sure your money's in the right place. You're just regularly going to have a small amount of Bitcoin on your phone. And then like they said, one of the most useful things for that is just making one Satoshi transactions. There were 2 or 3 of these points that mentioned one Satoshi transactions for verification or to submit data or something like that. So maybe that's just a clarification.
So I don't know if this was addressed because I didn't read all this stuff below in this article, but I'm guessing it probably wasn't.
It wasn't what?
Addressed in this article.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys remember when we were talking about like what happens when there no longer is like any reward for mining? And we talked about like maybe you will pay for, it'll be like paying a phone bill or something like that. Like you pay a company to mine for you or something because they're not making. So one of the first things I thought about when I first heard this headline or whatever, that there's going to be a miner in every device. Well, what if instead of paying a subscription or something to be able to use Bitcoin, you just pay up front for a miner?
Right.
So it's one fixed cost. Yeah, and like that's the thing. It's like it's a fixed cost. So maybe it's like it seems like a little bit more than paying a little bit per month or whatever. But if you're doing tons of transactions and stuff like that, it's worth it for you to pay up front. And if you can just buy a phone that already has this built into it and just run it in the background all the time, and everybody who's using Bitcoin does this, I think that's like a huge thing.
And that could even, because, well, I have 2 things. Hopefully I don't forget the second one. But if things went like that, that could theoretically eliminate the mining fee. Because that's sort of what we said, not quite like a phone bill, but where every like that's already how Bitcoin is set up, is you pay a fee with every transaction.
Yeah, just fees would get higher.
Exactly. But you're right. If everybody had their own miner, then you wouldn't have to pay a fee to a different miner. You would just be a miner yourself as well. Now,
the only problem with that is that really, I don't know how easy it is to track a miner, because I think that takes quite a bit away from any kind of.
What do you mean track?
Pose a problem for anonymity.
I don't know. I have no clue.
Okay.
I'm sure there will be ways to keep it anonymous. I mean, there's so many ideas floating around about keeping Bitcoin anonymous. I wouldn't worry about that.
And maybe you just have to have slower transaction times or something like that to get it done on somebody else's miner.
Well, that's sort of what I was going to bring up, because it would almost have to be, so maybe there would still be fees. And, well, I don't know. Let me try and explain this. It would almost have to be like a sharing economy, because if you went into that scenario expecting that you would literally mine all of your own Bitcoins, then you're going to be waiting probably like years to get your transaction confirmed, because that means that you literally have to put it into your own block.
Yeah, no, that's not what I was saying. I was more meaning like distributed. Like, right. Because I think that's like the problem now with mining, is that it's gotten into these big pools. And so but like the problem with that is that when there no longer is a reward, like these pools are just going to stop doing it, because the only reason they're doing it now is for the benefit. But if it's easy for everyone to do it, that solves that problem of not having anybody mining, if you just have it distributed.
Right. So here,
if you're just running in the background, and I think people do that. People do that for stuff they don't make any money on. They'll put a little bit of effort into helping to moderate a site or something like that. Or...
I actually saw a few, like, just in the past week, a few places that were selling Bitcoin nodes, like a little, just like on a Raspberry Pi or a similar device, where you just plug it in and you let it be a node, and you don't really make a ton of money, but you just support the network. But here's what I want to say. I don't think you would completely eliminate fees, because, like I said, you couldn't trust yourself to literally mine your own transactions. You would still need to have the whole network, and you would still need somebody else to do it for you. So you would still need a fee to make that happen, But where the fees would dissipate, they would still be there, but sort of what would make up for them is not only are you paying for your transactions, but you're also regularly getting paid to your miner. So it's like the fees would still be there, but it would balance out almost everywhere, because it's kind of like any average, where if everybody's doing it at pretty much the same rate, you know, on their phone, then it's going to balance out a whole lot. Because yes, I'm going to pay fees for my transactions because I want to encourage people to help me mine them, but I'm also, every once in a while, that's going to come back to me too. And it seems like it should all just average out or balance out or equal out. So the fees will still exist, but you're not exactly going to have to pay for Bitcoin over time.
I just assume that it will be a whole heck of a lot better than trying to keep mining pools in business. Paying fees for that. Paying fees to mining pools who are just...
Well, I don't think the mining pools are going to go away, because if I have a miner on my phone, it's possible.
Well, I mean, just having them run the network like they are now. Right.
I think what would happen is it would move to something like P2Pool, where it's a peer-to-peer mining pool, so it's a decentralized mining pool. That would be preferable, but I don't think the pools would go away, because if I were mining on my phone, chances are I would never find a block in my life. So there would still have to be some system of kind of combining power and then splitting the reward, but that can be done decentralized. Sweet. Okay, we're almost done. We hit all the main points for like the specific uses. There's a few more paragraphs here which we more or less covered just in the conversation, but there is one thing that I want to hit that seems pretty important. I guess I'll just read it. Ultimately, though, it is the community of electrical engineers and computer scientists that will judge whether embedded mining technology solves their problems. Towards that end, our team of PhDs in EE from MIT, Stanford, and CMU has built not just a chip, but a full technology stack around the chip, including reference devices, data sheets, a cloud backend, and software protocols. That's really important. And we've mentioned this on the show before, where in the Bitcoin space, it's a little bit like the .com boom, where everybody's like, oh, this is a great idea. We could do this with cryptography and a blockchain. There's so many good ideas floating out there, but to actually make something happen is really hard. But these people seem like they're really putting some effort in there, because they've already developed the software protocols, the cloud backend, the data sheets. They seem like they're actually doing something, and that's I'm sure that's how they were able to raise all that money we talked about in the previous episode, because they have a plan and they're making stuff happen. I think it's really cool, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I don't know. You never know. There's there's been scams and flops in the Bitcoin community for sure, so you never know. And I still hold that we told the future. We can't prove it, but we definitely told the future on that Black Friday years ago.
Things never disappear. There's some way to find that.
Oh yeah, maybe we will. It'll be actual lost audio. It's not like those people who are like, oh, it's lost audio, pay us $120 for it on that special edition DVD. No, this will be actual lost audio that we may or may not find.
Actually, yeah, we might pay you for it.
Oh,
that's how lost it is.
You know what? That's seriously, guys. I don't think anybody was listening to us back then, but on the off chance, it was on the website for a while. So if you have it, holy crap, let us know. Awesome. We will see you next Thursday, maybe sooner. I really am hoping to get this live show up and running as soon as possible, so keep an eye out for that. We did this during the live show when we ran it last summer. We will be fielding tweets the whole time, open tweet lines to @YumiandBTC, so your voice is definitely able to get on the show. I would love to set up calling too, so that's absolutely a possibility. So keep an eye out for that. Send us a tweet anytime during the live show or not @YumiandBTC. And check out the show notes at our website, yumiandbtc.com. I'll have links to this article Wow. We did say it was from Medium. I really should have mentioned, though, wow. Here goes nothing. Balaji S. Srinivasan. Srinivasan. Balaji S. Srinivasan. That was the author. He says he's taking over the role of CEO at 21, medium.com, but I'll have links at umiandbtc.com, so check it out. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to episode 73. All of the music in today's show was from Jon Stuart. We'll see you next Thursday.